I'm going to start talking about the use of technology in the classroom. In the last few days, I interviewed three teachers from different schools. One of the teachers is Marcos Dominguez. He's a math teacher at Seoul International School here in South Korea. The second teacher I interviewed is Ranieri Segovia. He's an English teacher from Eurasia Language Institute. And the third teacher is Kevin Ko. Is an English teacher at Korean Wales International Christian School. And the first question I asked them regarding to technology was, are you prepared to teach the use of technology and information in your classroom? Well, most of them answered yes. They were prepared and they always use technologies in the classroom to support their classes. Teacher Kevin Ko even mentioned that using technology can boost the efficiency of learning in the classroom, minimizing redundant energy consumption and setting up a routine of submitting and communicating. It is definitely a very convenient method to use technologies because students, by using Google Classroom, for example, they will avoid asking the teacher again about the given homework. So I think that will be very convenient for both teacher and the student. The second question I asked was, do you consider essential a special training course for teachers to implement properly technology in the classroom? Well, one of the answers were that a modern teacher should be expected to be technologically literate in basic technology use. Most of them agree that a teacher should know how to use technology already. They assumed that most of the teachers will have an understanding of how to use computers and a smart TV. When I asked them how often do they use technology to support their classes, they said on a regular basis. In the case of my colleague Ranieri Segovia at the Language Institute, he uses a technology such as iPad and computers for private classes. Now, talking about the pro and cons of using technology in the classroom, teachers agree that students get excited many times when activities and lessons involve technology, and the class is more engaging and interactive. However, if the class is dependent on the internet or other device, we need to be prepared to continue with the class. For Mr. Dominguez, the math teacher, students during the class, they tend to turn immediately to their calculator for calculation, and that he thinks it should be done mentally. So those are clear disadvantages of the use of technology in the classroom. It is also important to keep a nice communication with the student outside of the classroom. For example, in the case of a language school, we normally talk to the student directly to their contact number through an application on the phone or just by sending emails to exchange information, send materials. But in the case of the international school, teacher Marcos says that all assignments are posted on Edmodo, which is a platform for middle school. And students also have access to the classroom textbook in an ebook format. And that is an easy way to get to know all the information easily outside the classroom. Another important characteristic when teaching is to prepare material at home for students. So I asked them, how many hours do they spend to prepare their materials? And they said that 1 or 2 hours to double check that everything can be easily accessible and understood, especially if it has to do with assignments. That was one of the answers I got from teacher Marcos. During a class, there are lots of activities going on, and definitely teachers, by using technologies during the class, they can easily give homeworks to students use graphing calculators, as the math teacher mentioned, and for the language teachers, using videos, brainstorming, and discussions in a group are better with the use of technology. I ended up the interview by asking what tasks can be done better during your classes with the use of technology. And Mr. Ranieri said that teaching geography or world history, for instance, with Google Earth make for a better learning experience. And using Google to find images is better than trying to describe them. I totally agree. It's definitely faster and better. And in my case, whenever I teach Spanish and I need to teach a new word vocabulary, I link that with picture so student can understand that faster and easily. The lesson plan I analyzed came from a public high school called Benjamin Vicuña Maquena, and the teacher in charge was Joel Lantadilla Rogel. It was a 9th grade class. The content related was Future Will, and he started the class, as it says in the lesson plan, with a game called Sketch. But one of the things that I would improve from this planning is that when it comes to teach vocabulary, like those keywords to understand the listening activity, I would use pictures, images, to avoid using students' first language whenever it comes to explain vocabulary in an English class.